Okay, and we're back. So this is just a little You Can Linux special. I wasn't intending on recording today. We're just on Fedora 42KD again today because I didn't want to, again, I wasn't expecting to make an episode today. But it's just something I wanted to talk about. It is going to be the 4th of July tomorrow. So I just, kind of fired up my little mini PC and I thought we could have a little chat. If I can, not die. So, so today I want to talk about, and well, you've seen the title of this video, You Can Revolution. I remember when I was in university, I can't remember if it was my history of American pop culture or my history of American sexuality class. But the professor asked us, what is revolution, right? And I came up with this definition on the spot. It was something along the lines of a revolution is a significant turnabout in politics or socioeconomics. I think that was it. It was a long time ago, about at least 10 years ago, because I finished university in 2015 and it is now 2025. So and I titled this because You Can Revolution, because you can revolution. I believe in you, just like I believe in you. I think you can Linux. I believe in you. There we go. Had to find my words. This whole video is going to be a clusterfuck because I am not good at I am not good at getting my thoughts together. I should have taken more notes, but that's okay. So, first thing I wanted to talk about, okay? Linux is political. Free and open source software is a political movement, okay? Even when it doesn't have anything to do with government, although it often does, okay? Even when it has nothing to do with government, Linux is still political. FOSS is still political. All right? Let's see here. There's a dictionary definition of politics. Hold on. Politics. Let's just go to Wikipedia. Actually, in Firefox, we can switch our search engine to Wikipedia. And there we go. A set of activities that are associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power relations among individuals, such as the distribution of status or resources. Okay, so even when you have to go down to the sense of forms of power relations among individuals, Linux is still political. FOSS is still political, okay? All right, even when you're not talking about governments, even when you're not talking about, legislation and, executive powers, all that, it's still political, okay? Because we are taking power away from groups that are only concerned with making money or, growing their user base and taking it for ourselves, right? Like, you can go, hold on, let's see here. If you want to go and join the Linux kernel mailing list, you absolutely can. I don't recommend that because like it says here, it's a rather high volume list discussing the, design and bugs of the Linux kernel, okay? And you, like, if you sign up for this, your email address will get inundated with emails from this mailing list. But you can, if you want to. I mean, most of you don't are not kernel developers. That's not my target audience. My target audience is people who don't think they can use Linux, but you can. But you can get in on the mailing list and see what people are doing. It's all completely open, and if you have the ability to, you can even submit patches to the kernel and include your code in the kernel. You can be a part of this if you really want to. Now, caveat, I've heard that sometimes the Linux kernel development is kind of a little bit rough and tumble. Not rough and tumble as in, you know, unprofessional. Well, as in, how do I... Okay, look, my point is, sometimes they can be really abrasive. So, you know, if you do want to contribute to an open source project, you may not want to go to the kernel, at least not at first. But there are plenty of other open source projects that you can contribute to if you want to. Okay? And so, you know, if you don't know how to code, that's okay. You can also contribute in other ways, right? So, if you know another language aside from English, a lot of projects need help translating their documentation into English. And that opens up a whole world of possibilities for someone in another country where maybe they don't have a whole lot of the same opportunities as we do in the Western world, which is, well, we'll get to the political state of the quote-unquote Western world, right? You can also give money. That is a big way to give back to the community, is to, if you have the money, donate to a free software project that you use a lot. If you find that you are getting something out of KDE, for example, you know, or if you find you are getting a lot out of, I don't fucking know, what else do I have installed here? Krita. If you find that you are getting a lot out of Krita or LibreOffice, you know, kick a few bucks their way. You know, and if you can also set up rolling donations with a lot of these projects where, you know, you kind of, you know, it automatically comes out of your account like it does with Netflix or something, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do to give back to the community. This right here, this is my way of giving back to the community. This channel was originally going to be Linux stock footage. And I didn't want, and like, I realized that, you know, nobody's going to watch it, right? Nobody's going to come here and find it if it's just Linux stock footage, right? So I just, I went with this idea, and here we are. So, you know, this, there's a lot of ways you can give back to the community, okay? So, you know, you can make a difference in the free software community. And I know there's going to be a lot of resistance to Linux. Linux has a real problem with assholes in the community, you know, kind of being gatekeepy and such. But, well, certain communities do, right? And certain communities are toxic. I'm not gonna lie to you, all right? Certain communities are toxic, certain people in communities are toxic, and that sucks, right? What really sucks is we have a real problem with literal fascists in the community, okay? I'm going to name a few names here, okay? Luke Smith, he's a fascist bigot, okay? And he hides it fairly well if you don't know what you're looking for, right? If you don't know how to spot these people in the wild, he hides it pretty well, okay? So, and then you've got Brian Lunduke, and I hate to say Brian Lunduke's name in this list because you know, his Linux Sucks series was one of the first things I ever saw in regards to Linux, right? Like, I had heard the name Linux around back in the day, but like it was my first like exposure to someone who like actually uses Linux and was kind of I guess you could call him an influencer. It was my first one of my first exposures to that. And you know, it really sucks that well, I say turned into such a fucking fascist little asshole, because, you know, before he used to be such a fun guy, you know, fun guy to watch, fun guy to listen to, and then he just went bonkers. Or fuck it, maybe he was bonkers all along. Maybe he was a fascist the whole time, and I just didn't see it. Or maybe he hid it really well. I mean, you know, it sucks. It really, really sucks. Well, you know what else sucks? There's another YouTuber called DistroTube. He is also a fascist. like the writing should have been on the wall when I saw a video of him talking about, oh yeah, I believe in gun rights. And that's not the part that set me off. What ticked me off the first time was, if Antifa shows up in my yard, I'm gonna be ready. Okay, when you say, when Antifa shows up in my yard, I'm gonna be ready with my guns. Yeah, no, you're a fascist. I'm sorry. But what really tipped me off and what got me to stop watching him was he posted a video on January 6th, 2021, where he was like, hey guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't watch the news. You know, it's like the biggest fucking insurrection since the Civil War in the United States happened that day. You know, I was done. I was fucking done, you know. Like I said, the writing should have been on the wall in that first video. But, you know, it sucks. And I know there are people who are like friends with these people within the community, and I don't know if they're just politically unaware, or if they're like, well, these are my friends and I don't want to like lose them. I don't know what the situation is there. I'm not going to say anything about that. So, you know, there are a few other people there that I'm not going to name that I know have had like, oh wait, I almost forgot one. This is a big one. I say it's a big one, but his channel is basically dead. He still posts videos fairly frequently, but his channel is basically dead. Don't try to revive his channel, because it's not worth it. This guy's name is Switched to Linux. He is absolutely terrible. I literally saw a video, or maybe it was a live stream once, where he was literally like, there are only 2 genders. Like, no. There are only 2 genders, and then he proceeds to talk about biological sex, which gender and biological sex are 2 different things, dude. like even within the supposed gender binary, I mean, you've got the manly men and the effeminate men, right? You've got like these masculine kind of butch women, and you've got the girly girls, right? So clearly there aren't only 2 genders, right? Like, even if you're like in that binary mindset, there are different ways of expressing gender, right? Oh my god. Like, dude. You know, by the way, there are not just 2 sexes either. You know, that is also a spectrum, because of you know, you ever hear of intersex people? I know back in the olden days, you probably called them hermaphrodites. I don't think that's an acceptable term for that anymore. I don't think. I'm not in that community myself, so, and I haven't really talked to anybody who was intersex. But that is a thing, right? And you might even be intersex and not even know it, okay? Have you had your uteruses counted? There was a post by the Vagina Museum on Mastodon where they said, have you had your uteruses counted? Because even if you're a man, there's a non-zero chance that the amount of uteruses you have is more than zero, right? Because, there have been cases of men going to the doctor, and finding out they have a uterus in them, right? And they're not any less of a man. They just didn't know they had a uterus in them. So it is very possible. Oh, you know what? Actually, I just realized there are only two sexes. The kind I have with your mom and the kind I have with your dad. Yeah! So, in that sense, there are only two sexes. Okay? Sorry, I hang out with a lot of trans people, and they, online. Funny story about trans people. I haven't actually been around a trans person in real life, unless I didn't notice, for a while now, but that's just because I only hang out with a couple people in real life, and I don't really travel all that far, all that often. I would like to travel a bit more often, but, when I was in university, this was probably the first trans person who was, like, out and about while I was still with them in real life. I met this trans woman in university, and she and I stayed over at her apartment one night, and a few days later, I was in the car with my mother, and she said she was talking to her boyfriend at the time, and she was like, "Oh, he said you were going to get that girl pregnant. I don't want you to get a girl pregnant." I'm like, "Emma's trans," and she's like, "Oh, thank God." So, yeah. I have a lot of criticisms of my mother and my family in general, but, I've never felt like, if I were trans or gay, I'd be, ostracized or any of that. Well, on my, my grandparents, on my father's side might have had an issue with it. I never knew my grandparents on my mother's side, but because they died before I was born. But my grandparents on my father's side, they were kind of in a cult, so they might have had a problem with it. But everybody else, I've never felt like afraid to come out for anything. I am bisexual, by the way, so actually, I don't know how much of my family knows that. I doesn't really come up in conversation all that much, and I just, it's like, whatever. Now, this is getting off to a very rambly start. We're 18 minutes in. Okay. Next up, I want to talk about politics is political. Okay? So, stating the obvious again, right? So politics is political. So, I'm in the Golden Butterflies Discord, which is run by Trixie the Golden Witch, and I wanted to talk about this specifically. I didn't want to have it buried in one of the, I was going to talk about it in, like, a normal episode of You Can Linux, but, I wanted to talk about this, because it's very important. It's run by a lady named Trixie the Golden Witch, and she, I know a lot of people in the Discord share this opinion, and at the risk of pissing everybody off, I'm gonna say this. She said that, voting isn't important, do it if it makes you feel better, but, we're not very voting friendly here, and I just, please vote. Oh my God, dude, this is part of how they build their power base, okay? If conservatives and fascists and big business interests thought that voting was unimportant, why would they be trying so hard to suppress it? Okay? There is a district in Texas that looks like a pair of headphones. They wouldn't be doing that if voting didn't matter, okay? And it's not just the federal elections that matter, okay? Even if it's local, please vote. Right? Like, find out when elections are happening, even if it's just for a little levy, like a school levy, right? Do you want kids to, like, have books and stuff? Vote in school levies, okay? Get them that funding, right? Like, I remember in the 2024 general election in Marion County. I don't live in Marion County, West Virginia, but I live close enough that, you know, the local news talked about it. In Marion County, on the general election ballot, there was a levy for the local Humane Society, and that levy did not pass. And so the Marion County Humane Society is now in trouble because they don't have the money to keep operating like they were. I don't even know what happened with that. The local news stopped mentioning it, and like I said, I don't live in Marion County, and I don't move in, like, the circles of people who, like, volunteer with animal shelters. But, like, you know, that's important. That shit is important. And again, this is how they grow, part of how they grow their power base, right? Even in local elections, right? This matters because presidents rely on everybody else below them, not just in Congress, but everybody in the states. Well, Congress isn't even supposed to be below the presidency. I'll talk about that in a second. In the states, right? The governors, the county officials, city officials, they all have to go along with policy, right? Like, come on, guys. God, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, I saw on the news where there was a town in Texas where the election was decided on a coin flip because even after the recounts, they were dead even. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Get out there and vote. Right? And I know. That's not the only thing you should be doing. You're right. That is not the only thing you should be doing. Right? And I know a lot of people are thinking, like, oh, you're just voting for the lesser of two evils. Don't think about it like that. Think about it as you are choosing your opponent, right? Like who would you rather fight against, the SPD or Adolf Hitler? I'm picking the SPD any day. I know a lot of their bullshit allowed Hitler to come to power, but would you rather fight against those assholes or the guy who did genocide? Yeah, no fucking contest, right? So, and the last thing I want to talk about with this is people just don't know how our government works, right? Like, Congress isn't supposed to be below the president. The president is, like, this is high school civics stuff, right? Like Congress makes the laws and the president executes them, right? And then the judicial branch, well, it's not really clear in the Constitution, but they've kind of taken on the role since Marbury versus Madison of reviewing the law and seeing what's allowed in regards to, like, the Constitution, right? The problem with Democrats isn't that, they're these evil people who want to kill everybody. Some of them are. Fuck Kristen Sinema. I don't even think she's in Congress anymore. Who was it? Fetterman. Fuck Fetterman. Fuck that guy. Well, fucking turncoat. That's what he is. But, I just... that's where it starts. If you call your congressman up and they ask you, hey, did you vote? And you say no, they're not going to fucking listen to you. If you say, yes, I voted, right, they're going to actually, maybe listen to you, right? Just, oh my God. So the lesson here is, even if you think it doesn't matter, just go vote. At least vote in the local stuff. If you really don't think voting in the presidential elections means anything, at least vote in the local stuff. Leave the federal stuff blank if you're really that stupid, right? I don't want to call you stupid, but still, if you're that down on it, at least do the local stuff. Come on. Okay. I mean, we all talk about being more active in your community. This is like, come on. So next thing is your mom is political, even if she says she isn't. And this is a huge, huge problem, right? Where people say, you know, I'm not political. And when you say that, you're lying, okay? You're either lying to everybody else or you're lying to yourself. Everyone has political beliefs, right? I have a friend, and I don't want to disparage him too much, right? He's a good guy. I just don't think he's thought about this, right? He says he's apolitical. He votes. Dude, if you vote, you have political beliefs. And so, you know, that's a dead giveaway right there. You are a political person. It might not be your whole life, right? But that doesn't mean you're completely apolitical. You can't be completely apolitical, right? Like, even if you're like, oh, everything's good, I don't need to worry about politics, you're just in a good position because of the status quo, right? So, oh, I didn't mean to change the brightness. There we go. Yeah, fun fact, if you come up here to the brightness settings and just scroll up or down on the scroll wheel on the mouse, you can change it. You can also do that with the volume. Okay. So, yeah, don't believe them. And the thing is, a lot of these right-wing fascists are they're social pathogens, right? They'll find any opening they can to get their way, right? Any little weakness, but just like a pathogen, right? Like if you've got a wound on your skin, a pathogen will exploit that. These fascists, they're the same exact way, right? I don't know if anybody else has come up with the term social pathogen before me, but I made it up, so I'm using it. Where was I? See, I got ADHD. This has just been one big ramble session. I'm sorry. I should have taken more notes, like I said before. What else did I want to say? Okay. You know what? Next time I make this, I might just make this like a script or something. So I'll just move on to the channel update. So yeah, I definitely think I'm gonna go every 2 weeks. I don't know. Let's see here. So this week here is my birthday week. But I don't know if I want to make, because normally my next episode would be on the 10th, and then I'd have another episode Thursday. Well, I say normally, but on the schedule I'm starting, you know, it'd be 10th, 24th, and I'd skip the 17th. I don't know if I want to skip the 10th instead and just kind of reset the rolling rhythm, or reset the rhythm or whatever, or if I just want to keep it up and then on the 10th I make an episode, and then on the 24th I make my birthday episode. Or if I want to go, you know, 17th, my birthday episode, and then the 31st, different thing. So if I make an episode on the 10th, I'm not sure what I'm doing. If I make an episode on the, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but the next episode after that will be my birthday episode, and we'll be covering Ubuntu Mate. And so if I do my birthday episode next week, the next episode will just be Ubuntu Mate. So that's that. And I do want to reiterate, when I started this channel, it was going to just be Linux stock footage that, you know, anyone can use. Anyone can put it in their videos if they needed, you know, stock footage for, you know, that was based on Linux, or if they just needed, like, you know, kind of computery B-roll in for whatever reason. So that invitation does still stand, right? If you would like to use any of my videos for stock footage, you can. All right, I believe all these videos are under the Creative Commons attribution license. All you have to do is credit me. You can put in the little corner of the video, you can just be like, source UCAN Linux in parentheses at Stan Stockfoot. Please include at Stan Stockfoot, because that's the at name. I don't know what you call that. The at name for the channel. And I've tried looking on like my personal account for the channel, and I couldn't find it under just UCAN Linux, but I could find it when I put Stan Stockfoot in the search. So please include Stan Stockfoot somewhere in the credit. You can put it in the description. Just please credit me, and you know. So I did set up a Patreon page just because they were going to make some changes to the way creators are compensated on Patreon, and by publishing a page, I get grandfathered in. I'm not expecting to make any money off this, but I'm if people start asking for it, if I do end up gaining an audience, and people start asking for it, I will go ahead and set that up further so that people can donate money. So yeah. And again, if you have any audio tips, I haven't like changed anything, but I'm still not quite satisfied with it. I do have my fan on though, and I hope you can't hear it. I couldn't hear it when I was listening back to the monitor. So yeah. But I've got it on low so it doesn't make the noise cancellation go crazy. So yeah. Please, by all means, leave a comment saying what you thought. Don't leave a hate comment though. I'll just delete it. I'll just delete the hate comment. Don't leave hate comments. That's really shitty. Why would you do that? Anyway, so I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry this was so rambly. Bye.